Welcome to KLINK Africa, your holistic space that intertwines work, lifestyle, beauty, and wellness. We are your hosts, Siape Mafuyani and Karabo Tsailani Nondumo. And today we're going to talk about the tell someone moment. So great to be back and having these conversations again. I think, life is important with those kind of comical moments in between, the moments you can't tell everybody about. And how special is it for you to be able to have somebody to call or text or reach out to when life is lifing?
Yo, babe, I just think comedy is important in one's life.
Absolutely.
Like, we call each other and we just laugh and it's just good for the soul.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be so serious all the time. And, for me, if I don't have humor in my life, it's just, there's no life. And I think you go through, like Gugu talked about a dictaphone the other time, that so many things happen, you're like, yo, Patong.
I can't believe this is happening.
You're forever like expressions. Like, in South Africa, we've got the Aish expression.
Yes.
Every day is an Aish moment. So if I don't have you to call, or Gugu to call, or my other friends to call, and we can relate.
Absolutely.
I think Africa is a comic.
Honestly, I think it's our default setting for getting through any stressful moment is just to chuckle about it, right?
So it's very therapeutic for me. So if I didn't have that, even in romantic relationships, I mean, that's the most important thing. If we can't laugh.
Yeah, if you can't laugh together.
Then really, what's the point?
I mean, but talk about the serious parts of life, like the work life. Where often you have to pull a poker face, but inside you're like, I cannot wait to debrief and tell someone about what on earth is happening here.
Guys, it's like, for example, I mean, I went to a presentation this week and it was a pitch, right? So we are there as a panelist, a corporate pitch. And this lady comes up and she talks about, the effect of apartheid and how, it affected her family. Then she starts crying in the middle of the pitch.
No.
And I'm like, no, but girl, we are not. No. I get it, but I'm you right now, and I'm not crying and trying to gain favor.
But do you think some people around the table were falling for it?
They were. The white men were like, Batum, Karabo, you're too hard. Don't say that to her. I'm like, no, but come on.
This is part of the pitch.
No, come on.
She weaved it in.
Yes. Sometimes I'm like, yo, guys, is this what we do? Is this part of the winning formula?
And that's the issue, right? We don't throw those sprinkles into... You don't do that for your pitches.
No. I'm like, okay, can I cry then so you can deposit R1 billion extra because, apartheid did a number on me.
I love apartheid, eh?
Why are we doing that? Why are we using, it's like you're using all your ammo to get business. Really?
That's insane.
Yeah, so those are the corporate, I can't say it right here, but I couldn't wait to tell someone like I can't.
I mean, I remember calling you after speaking to a colleague of mine, white South African, who'd gone to a wedding over the weekend. And she was so
a black wedding.
Yes!
And African wedding.
Steps, lunch was supposed to be served at 12 and we arrived at 11:30.
There's the first
problem. Then it's 2 o'clock and people are dancing, going left and right.
And that song, Che Chela Pili, Che Chela Mura. Like, you're never going getting to the front.
You're never getting into the tent.
Everybody has to do a step, right? So when you get into the reception, you have to do a step and then you go forward and then you suck up, then you do the turnaround and then you go back and you start again. And the white people are like,
oh my goodness. So I was coaching her. I'm like, girl, first of all, okay, so midday isn't really midday. And then you've got to have like a hearty breakfast. She was traumatized. But I love it. I'm like, it's so South African. She says, and nobody else was bothered but her and her team arriving, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's insane.
That's the thing.
Hey?
Oh, but should we change as Africans though? But that makes us, right?
But that's what, that's
then
what
we're gonna change a few times.
No, and
speeches galore. Next thing is 6 o'clock, guys.
And we're still there.
We're still there.
And maybe they're serving mains at 6 o'clock. Insane. Hey? Oh man.
And you must sing like we're all
you
about
have got
song.
to
It's
enjoy it. Yeah. But I think for her,
people.
that adjustment, just culturally, it was like a shock. But I mean, she's done a few since, and I think she now understands that, the arrival time is a moving target. It's a suggestion more than anything. So and I mean, okay, so let's talk about the tough moments.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in Setswana they say Losologolo, right? Which means, the easiest way to handle a difficult situation is actually to laugh.
Yeah.
And I remember, we had those moments. I remember we were getting ready for my dad's burial. And I think it was the Thursday, I can't remember, the Thursday or the Friday, one of the days before the funeral. And I had somebody on the phone. I don't know if it was you or Tuto. And I can't even remember what I was laughing about, but I was laughing so hard, almost to a point of hysteria.
Yeah.
And you have people in the house looking at you like, why on earth are you laughing?
We are mourning.
We are mourning, we are bereaved.
Yeah.
You must be serious. And it's that. In that moment, that's exactly what I needed. I literally needed some random story about something that's happening in Joburg to just take my focus off of.
Can I tell you what we were talking about?
What were we talking about?
So this girl, we know she's a fashionista. I mean, look at her, right? At the funeral, she's wearing a hat that is this big, like it's covering her because she's got to be dramatic about it. And then she keeps like, this hat is this big, a tissue. My dad. Yo, that's our girl, right there.
No, but
I don't think you would. But the thing is so big.
Actually, what was supposed to happen? Let me tell the story. I remember I was supposed to have a party. I was actually going to celebrate my birthday because my dad passed, I think, 2 weeks before my birthday.
Yes.
So I had actually had this hat custom made for the birthday breakfast. And since I couldn't breakfast, I was like, well,
Yeah, we're like, look at her and Anita Ferreira.
And Anita. And I was hiding so nicely under that brim. Nobody could see me.
In the midst of it, we
found a way to laugh. Yeah.
But I also had an episode. So I'm going to gym. I'm so tired, but I'm just dragging myself for my peace of mind. Let me just go. So in my mind, I'm just looking raggedy. I'm going. I passed the check-in. So this young boy comes. I'm like, hey. I'm like, yeah, hi. Says, I think you're beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
I look at him, I'm like, you're probably
a little bit older than my oldest.
A little older than my youngest and a little younger than my oldest. Because he looks so young. I'm like, this is so amazing. Like a young guy
with that much guts to be able to step to you. It takes something, hey?
And like, can I take you out for coffee? I'm
and
like,
it's so unexpected.
But it's good for the soul, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you think, I'm not looking my best.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that those moments happen? You're like, oh man, you should have caught me when I was looking better.
Yes.
But that's incredible, hey?
Yeah, it's amazing. And then later he finds me at the car, but now my kids are smaller, and so they've got car seats.
Yeah.
It's like, yo,
you're serious?
2. And they look like their dad. It's like, yo, okay.
It's like, nope. It's okay. Later. Oh, I love it. Love it. It's so good for the ego, good for the soul, hey?
It is.
Yeah.
But when do you know who to call for what? Are you conscious of your relationships that, you bucket people based on what they serve in your life?
Absolutely. And I think as you get older, I certainly don't have as many people to call as I did when I was 21.
Yes.
I probably was calling a whole string of people. But I think right now, you probably have a default of one or two.
Yeah.
That are kind of your, because over time also, I think the challenging thing is, you know, you outgrow people, people leave your life. I think as in any relationship, you realize some people are probably not as happy for you. So over time, you know, you get a little bit smarter about who it is that you rely on to kind of be celebrating in your celebratory moments or to lift you up. I mean, you and I had my niece was like, because she was waiting to talk to me. When was it? Thursday?
Yes.
I think we were on the phone for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was just like a check-in call. And she's like, you guys never run out of stuff to talk about. And she's standing at the door trying to signal. I'm like, when I'm done, I'll come to you.
No, but it's bad when we're at a mall, at a restaurant
and
or something. And then we go to the checkout thing, we pay for our parking ticket.
Oh my goodness.
And then the time runs out.
We've done that.
Because we've been saying bye for 30 minutes. We did that 3 times
once. Yeah. Said bye, paid, bye, paid, bye, paid. Yeah, I think that was our worst one yet. Paying 3 times before we eventually got out. But now, tell me about, you know, moments where you've expected somebody to be there for you. You thought you had a great connection, only to realize that they don't kind of feel it, or they've let you down.
Yeah, you know, I think it's one of those times when you realize that we're actually not as close as I thought we were, or we're not those kind of friends. Yeah. It's painful though.
Yep.
Okay? Because you call someone with such expectation. I mean, stuck somewhere. You're like, please help me with this, and they're like, oh, sorry, I'm not available, or I'm not able to, or whatever, you know. So you're like, but I thought this person, you know, and it's even more painful when you've done.
Absolutely.
Because subconsciously
because you
expect,
generally,
right?
Yeah, it's probably that you've done it, so you expect that naturally you could rely on them for that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we expect it to be selfless when you help someone, but I think subconsciously we expect
we're human.
That to count.
Absolutely.
So it's very heartbreaking, and you know, I just think friendship issues are even much more heartbreaking. Yeah. Because we expect so much, right? When I call you my sister, there's a meaning to that.
Because you think you found your tribe. I think what's tricky with friendships, it's people you've chosen. You've gone and selected them out of the 8 billion people, and you're like, this is my tribe. And when you get let down repeatedly, you're like, oh my goodness. Because you kind of question yourself. Yeah. You know, what didn't I see, or have I gotten it wrong? Or I think I've realized over, I don't know, the past 20 years that sometimes I'm a great friend to people, but they don't necessarily see me in the way that I see them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very disappointing because you're kind of like, okay, what's wrong with me that, you know, you can't.
Yeah, but also something that we talked about is friends in business. Ooh. You know, is it a good idea? Is it, because we talk about it, but how many of us actually do it and give each other, you know, opportunities?
Man, I think that deserves a whole other episode.
Really?
Honestly, and I actually want to clink to you for that because you show up fully. Like you show up, you are the show up girl. Like you know, somebody who shows up and they actually shame you because they show up so much.
No, man. I take after you.
No, seriously. When we launched that beverage brand, you would show up to the store and like buy everything out from the shelf. Like literally,
we
clean the shelf out. But it's that, right? Because for me, I expect that. Like support must be that way. And then you kind of expect everyone closest to you to do that, and they don't.
They don't, eh?
You know, and it's very difficult when you love people and you don't get that, because you can't also change who you are. So you're a little bit disappointed, but you're never going to be who you're not. So you're always going to show up fully for people. But I think it also it forces you to then think about the stuff you don't necessarily have to be there for. And I think that's what you and I struggle with a lot as well. You know, whether it's a family bereavement for someone or it's where we actually have to consciously sit and think, is that necessary for me to, and it's difficult because it's not
Yeah, for
in
me
your
lately
nature.
it's birthdays.
Yeah.
So I've got you in my calendar for your birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but these years
actually,
I've said happy
I'm the
birthday.
one Why
Am I in your calendar?
I must tell you, friend, I have a friend, and that one is still actually actively in my friend group, whose wishes come literally, and I mustn't actually tie myself up here, but I think there's somebody in the circle who reminds them, and only after this individual has said happy birthday do they then, so they always get me in the dying moments, like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
But isn't that in itself like I've got a reminder friend?
Yes.
If she didn't remind me, I mean, how am I
it's not
supposed
gonna happen. And it's that. It's like I've got to then be sober about it and go, this is when it's good, but it's not a sisterhood. And there was a moment in my life where I thought it was a sisterhood.
Sure, it's a work in progress.
Very much a work in progress.
Friendship.
But I think the grace we talk about, though, the grace we talk about extending to ourselves and to each other is, for me, growing up, understanding that I meet people where they are.
Yeah.
So, no hard feelings. In my 20s, I was militant, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, okay. I appreciate the fact that I know where I stand in your life. And when I do, trust me, I'm never going to get those
But you're
wires
never going to
crossed.
hear the fun part of my tell someone moment.
Absolutely
If
not.
I've got a great story.
I'm not going to tell you.
You basically got the great laugh.
Jokes
you're
on
not
you.
my friend.
You're not my friend. You don't choose me. Oh my goodness. But I think, this is a celebration of those wonderful connections that I hope everyone has in their life.
Absolutely.
But
Have
also,
to have. If
you
you
have
don't
to have
strive
them.
for that.
You can't get through life without them. And thank you, friend, for being
thank you,
that
my love.
connection for me, that I can go to whether things are good, bad, happy or sad.
Yeah, because when you can come with me to an event, I'm like, okay, so what should happen now? Like,
I need a wardrobe budget for being your +1. I'm like, between you and T, I'm like, my calendar is full. I have no plans, but I am fully booked for everything. So so it's been a great conversation, friend. Thank you so much. Let's
clink to
that. And to everyone, thank you so much for watching. Please continue to follow us on Klink Africa on all platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, Klink!